everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I'm here with another project for Paper House Productions. And sometimes when I'm looking for creativity or wanting to sit down at my desk and create a little bit, I challenge myself to take basically one product and something like a sketch or a scrap lift or some kind of inspiration piece and just go with it. So I kind of wanted to show you how that process works a little bit for me. So I went ahead and grabbed this Let Freedom Ring paper pad. And this particular paper pad from Paper House Productions, I really like. And it is not something that I originally had ordered, like in my design team goodies. But then I saw Sandy, who is State Goddess on YouTube, use this paper pad. And there are some really great, like, basic patterns that will work for anything. So I had to go back and pick up this particular paper pad. And the sketch that I'm using this month is from the January page maps release. And so this particular sketch has two 4x4 photos and then a bunch of squares. And so I've started with a 12x12 just white piece of cardstock and added some inking around the edges. And then I also inked around my photos and around all of these little 2x2 squares that I cut out of the pattern paper from that paper pad. And I'm just basically at this point following the sketch. So I'm laying out all of these different little squares, very similar to how the sketch looks. So typically when I work with a sketch, I start out my layout very close in design, very similar to where they start. And as I add more layers and add more embellishing is kind of where it starts to go rogue and I end up with something just a little bit different. So you will, a lot of times when I am creating, especially with a sketch, you'll see that I start, like the foundation of my layout looks very much like the sketch, and then it kind of goes off in a little bit different direction with the embellishing. So in the sketch, there was an area for journaling and a title in that bottom right hand area that lays across the top. So I pulled a sheet of notebook paper just out of one of the notebooks I have sitting around my craft room because I am obsessed with office supplies. Is there anybody else with me? Like notebooks, post-it notes, all the things. Please tell me that's not just me. So I grabbed just a piece of notebook paper from one of the notebooks. I think I picked it up at Target. And inked all the edges so that they would match everything. And that makes a perfect spot for journaling and a title. I am going to have my photos on some fun foam so that they are going to be elevated up off of the page. And in the sketch, there's this ribbony spot across the top of the layout, and I am going to add that with one of the border stickers that comes in that particular paper pad. So I am trying really hard not to go to my stash for a ton of extra things. I really wanted to challenge myself to just stick to this one little leftover sticker pack and that paper pad. And the paper pads are great because they have a 12x12 sticker sheet inside. So I can kind of get away with it. I am going to go to my stash and add a couple of things, but I'm really going to try and stick with just these two things. I don't make a big mess. I don't have a lot of choices. It helps my creativity and kind of challenges me to just use those things. And it works especially well if all you have is a little block of time because then you don't have all of these options. So I'm just going through these clear stickers and I added some to the bottom of my journaling block. I added some in that top right hand or that top left hand corner. So I've got that little Discover globe up there and I clustered some little stars. And then I go back to the paper pad and they have these little blocks and one of them just has a flag on it. So I put it on the red brick pattern paper and then I put some fun foam behind it. And so far, that's the only one I've added. And you'll see, I keep going back. So then I went ahead and went to my stash and grabbed these little Paige Evans navy blue puffy foam thickers, which are some of my absolute favorite thickers ever. Like ever, you guys, ever. And I'm going to use those for my title to just say Mount Vernon. These are two pictures of Parker when we went on our mom and Parker trip to Washington, D.C. When I asked him when we were planning the trip, because he got to pick that's where we were going, I asked him where it was that he really wanted to go. And Mount Vernon was his #1 answer. And I was baffled, totally blown away that that's where he would pick. Because I was thinking, I want to go to the Capitol. I want to go to the Washington Monument. I want to go to the museums. No, the kid's I really want to go see Mount Vernon. So Mount Vernon it was. And of course we went, and he absolutely like adored it. It was one of his favorite things from the entire trip. But they had this like adventure quest map type of thing where he got to go answer questions and go all throughout the property, which has Parker like written all over it. Like it was made for this kid. So that's kind of what these pictures are talking about. And I just said it was your #1 pick on our Washington, D.C. adventure. I added a few splatters to the, like on the diagonal, and that's it. So this came together super quick by just limiting my supplies, starting with a sketch, and jumping right in. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing this process. I will post links to all these products down below, as well as my coupon code, and I'll see you soon. Bye!